Welcome back to Baseballogy for the second part of my series where I talk about guys who can and cannot hit a curveball. In the last episode, I talked about the guys who could not hit a curveball, even if their lives depended on it. If you have not seen that video, I suggest you do. I think it's a good watch, obviously. I think all of my videos are good watches, and they talk about different aspects of baseball that most people don't really think about on a daily basis. I'm a numbers guy. I don't talk about the baseless opinions that you see in some other people's videos and then don't back it up. We are spitting straight facts. So, with that, let us get into the topic for today: the best curveball hitters in the MLB. So, at number 10, we have Corey Dickerson. Just like the last video, I will talk about the weighted on base average, the whiff percentage, and the strikeout percentage when seeing a curveball. Dickerson's weighted on base average is 420. His whiff percentage is 20.8%. And his strikeout percentage when seeing a curveball is 14.3%. His run value sits at positive 3. At number 9, we have Whit Merrifield. His weighted on base average is 441. His whip percentage is 20.9%. And his strikeout percentage is 18.5% when seeing curveballs. This is honestly pretty good. This is definitely a couple steps up above average. So, Merrifield's run value also sits at positive 3. At number 8, we have Vlad Guerrero Jr. His run value is a good positive 5. His weighted on base average sits at 455. His whiff percentage when seeing a curveball sits at 34.3%, which is mediocre. His strikeout percentage when seeing curveballs sits at 27.6%, which is slightly better, but it definitely could be a lot better, I think. But then again, in the last video, if you watched the last video, what you saw was a guy I'm trying to remember, Adalberto Mondesi, who had 70% whiff percentage and strikeout percentage. So, this is definitely 30 steps up from there. So, at number 7, we have David Fletcher from the Los Angeles Angels. His run value sits at a pretty good 5. His weighted on base average is 452. His whip percentage when seeing curveballs is 2.4%. And his strikeout percentage is a really impressive 0.0%. Which is definitely the best in the league. He literally did not strike out to a curveball. So that's really insane. The dude just absolutely does not miss curveballs. Alright, excuse me. At number 6, we have Didi Gregorius, whose run value sits at 4. His weighted on base average sits at 460. His whiff percentage when seeing a curveball sits at 25%. His strikeout percentage sits at 12% when seeing a curveball. So, Didi Gregorius also has some pretty good numbers here, I think. 25%, if you're only whiffing on curveballs 1/4 of the time, that's not bad. And then if you're, striking out to curveballs, 1/8, I think, of the time, I think it comes down to about 1/8. That's also really good. So I think that's I think that's actually kind of insane still. Not as good as David Fletcher, but who can Jesus. Keep getting notifications on my phone and it's annoying. Jesus, shut up. And it's the company that I work for too. If you know Fantasy Pros, I write articles for fantasy pros, and so basically we have this like group chat where they kind of update like news and stuff, and so like they're sending out messages every like minute or every 30 seconds, and it's like sounds like a freaking horn, and I'm just like, shut up. Seriously, I'm like, I know I trying to do something here, man. All right, that was my little panic attack. But at number 5, we have the one and only Mike Trout. His run value sits at 4. His weighted on base average is a 475. His whiff percentage when seeing a curveball is 32.1%. His strikeout percentage is also 32.1%. Mike Trout is just the GOAT at everything. The GOAT at hitting home runs, hitting for average, hitting for on base percentage, and slugging and OPS, right? Like, he's just the GOAT. But he's also the GOAT at keeping his whiff percentage and his strikeout percentage against curveballs the exact same number. I think that's actually really insane. At number 4, we have Fernando Tatis Jr., who had an insane breakout season in 2020. His run value sits at 3. His weighted on base average sits at 487. His whiff percentage sits at 33.3% when seeing a curveball, and his strikeout percentage sits at 23.3%. At number 3, we have Corey Seager, who I think also had a pretty good season. His run value sits at 3. His weighted on base average sits at a fairly decent 513. His whiff percentage sits at 35.6% when seeing curveballs, and his strikeout percentage when seeing a curveball is 17.2%. So his numbers are honestly really good here. So that's why he's number 3, I guess. At number 2, we have DJ LeMahieu from the Yankees. His run value jumps all the way back up to 5. His weighted on base average is 538. His whiff percentage sits at 9.1%, and his strikeout percentage sits at 7.7%. So that's actually really good too. You're whiffing at a curveball 1/10 of the time, about, and then you're striking out to a curveball a little bit under 1/10 of the time. That's actually really good. So finally, at number 1, the best curveball hitter, according to Baseball Savant, is Jesse Winker. Man, all these yawns. Jeez, I don't even feel that tired. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. His run value sits at a great positive 7. His weighted on base average sits at 567. His whiff percentage sits at 21.4%, and his strikeout percentage when seeing a curveball is 11.5%, which is really good. Like, his numbers are still really good. So yeah. With that, we have the best hitters in the MLB at hitting curveballs. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have plenty more topics to research. I know that some people don't absolutely love these types of videos because they're meant to be a little bit more educational, and they're meant to make you think about the numbers. I get it. People don't want to think. People want to go on YouTube and be simps and watch prank videos and all that. But hey, watch my videos. They're really fun. They're really cool. They're interesting, and if you're a baseball fan, I have plenty of things I plan to do with this channel, especially when the MLB season starts, like doing breakdowns and keeping up to date with the live standings and stuff like that. So I've also been planning to do baseball Jeopardy games soon. I know this is like the 3rd video where I repeated these things, but I want to be clear about the content of this channel. I'm excited for everything I can do with this channel, and I hope people have the same enthusiasm for the content that will come out of this channel. Then, finally, Make sure to like all of my videos. Put a comment down below if you are like if you have a question or if you just think something like one of these guys should not be on the list. Put a comment. It's fine, right? Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos coming very shortly. Jeez, I really should just go to bed, right? But it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Obviously, I feel at this point it's just God telling me, "Yep, you gotta go to bed, dude." The sleeping schedule of a college student. But hey, I'm working on a 3 videos per week schedule, so expect somewhere close to that. And with that, thanks for tuning into